Hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining me. If you are new to my channel, hi, I'm Kat and I like to talk about true crime, conspiracies and all sorts of related things. Please don't forget, if you are new here, to make sure you hit the big red subscribe button below, and also make sure you hit the notification bell so you know of any new videos I upload. For my returning subscribers and viewers, I would like to thank you all so much for all those lovely comments I always read from you, and for the continuous support you are always showing me. This is what keeps me and my channel going. Thank you so much. So, okay, before we get started, I really do need a drink because this is going to be... I do not mean to be disrespectful to anyone I talk about in today's video. The video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. The information I collect is from the internet. I compile this information, make a video, and from this you guys are more than welcome to draw your own conclusions. Thank you. Okay, so Carla, what do you think? Is this going to be disgusting or what? Oh my god, this is going to be so disgusting. I want to talk to you today about the man who sold human hamburgers. Yes, he sold human burgers. Oh boy, just a piece of advice before I start with the video. Please make sure you're not eating anything at this point, unless your stomach can actually hold it. Okay. Ironically known in the 90s as Tiny, as he was tall and overweight, Joe Metheny's story began with a search for his runaway wife and son. Joseph Roy Metheny was born on March the 2nd, 1955. In Baltimore, Maryland, United States. He had been spending time in bars, living with bands of homeless men in makeshift camps in South Baltimore, and spending nearly all of his money on crack cocaine, heroin and liquor. However, he held a steady job as a forklift driver and was described as intelligent, well-spoken and very well-mannered. Joe had been neglected as a child. His father was an alcoholic who was killed in a car accident when Joe was 6 years old, and his mother had neglected her 6 children while she worked double shifts outside the home. Joe said his parents often sent him to live with other families in foster-like arrangements. Joe Metheny falsely claimed that his mother was dead. His mother said they were somewhat poor and she had to work hard as a waitress, barmaid and food truck driver. But she had provided her children with a normal family life, and the children had never gone hungry or been put into homes of other families as Matheny had claimed. She said that Joe Metheny was an above average student, always polite and not mean as a child. He was smart and had a good childhood. Joe Metheny joined the United States Army when he turned 18 in 1973. His mother said he had served in Germany, although he claimed he served a tour in Vietnam and became addicted to heroin while in an artillery unit there. His mother had no recollection of him serving in Vietnam, and the circumstances of his service were reported as unverified in press reports. American involvement in Vietnam had ended by that time. Joe very rarely contacted his mother after he joined the army. According to his mother, he just kept drifting further and further away. The worst thing that ever happened to him was drugs. It's a sad story. When Joe's drug addict wife took their son and left him, he flew into a rage. He spent days looking for them, checking halfway houses and even under a bridge where he knew his wife used to do drugs. There, he didn't find his wife, but 2 homeless men whom he believed did drugs with his wife. When they gave no indication that they knew where his wife and son were, he killed them both with an axe. After killing them, he noticed a fisherman nearby who could have seen what he'd done, and just in case he had, Joe killed him as well. These first 3 were crimes of passion, and as soon as he realized what he'd done, Joe panicked and dumped the bodies into the river to hide the evidence. He was soon arrested for the murders of the homeless men and spent a year and a half in the county jail awaiting a trial. At trial, however, he was acquitted. Thanks to his quick thinking in hiding the bodies, there was no physical evidence he had killed the two men. Now free, Joe resumed his quest of seeking out his missing wife and child. Even though he spent more than 1 year awaiting trial, shortly after being released, Joe murdered 2 prostitutes. This time he had a much better idea for disposing of the bodies. Instead of tossing them in the river, Joe brought the bodies home. There he dismembered them and stored the meatiest parts of them in his freezer, burying the unusable parts in a truck lot owned by the pellet company he worked for. Back home, brace yourselves, back home he mixed the prostitute's flesh with a mixture of beef and pork, forming it into neat little patties. Over the next several weekends, he would sell these little patties out of a small barbecue stand he opened on the side of the road. For weeks, passers-by, truckers, and people from the town would all eat bits of human flesh, essentially becoming living hiding spots for the bodies of Joe's victims. When he was arrested, Joe told police that no one had complained about the meat tasting funny. In fact, no one seemed to notice that his burgers had a little something extra in them. The human body tastes very similar to pork, he said. If you mix it together, no one can tell the difference. Whenever he needed more special meat, Joe would simply venture out and find another vagabond. According to his confession, he killed 10 people, though authorities say there's no reason to believe he would have stopped there had he not been arrested. He was finally caught in 1996 when a would-be victim managed to escape Joe's clutches and went to the police. Eventually he was found guilty and sentenced to death, which was overturned in 2000 and changed to 2 life sentences. In 2017 he was found dead in his prison cell. During his interrogation he willingly offered up a confession and details about each of his murders, even mentioning the murder of the fisherman, which he had gotten away with several years before. He also appeared to show no remorse for what he'd done, apart from one thing. The only thing I feel bad about in any of this is I didn't get to murder the 2 mother effers I was really after, he said. And that's my ex-old lady and the bastard she got hooked up with. Joe murdered Katie Ann Magaziner in 1994, a 39-year-old woman who had been convicted for prostitution, and buried her body in a shallow grave on the site of the factory where he worked. The body remained there for more than 2 years. He later said he strangled her and dug up her skeleton 6 months later, put her head in a box and threw it in the trash. Joe Metheny was tried for murder in a different case in 1995 for allegedly killing Randall Brewer and Randy Piker with an axe at a homeless tent city campsite under Baltimore's Hanover Street Bridge. There had been disputes involving rival groups of homeless men, and Larry Amos stole the murder weapon and used it to kill Everett Dowell, another homeless man. The bodies were discovered on August 2nd, 1995, the same day that Dowell was killed. Amos was arrested and accused of first-degree murder and pleaded guilty to the lesser charge of manslaughter. He was released after serving 1 year and 9 months of an 8-year sentence. A jury concluded in July 1996 that there was insufficient evidence to convict Joe of murdering Brewer and Piker, but Joe later said he was guilty of those murders. Joe killed Kimberly Lynn Spicer in mid-November 1996 by stabbing her with a knife. He kidnapped Rita Kemper on December 8, 1996 and attempted to rape her. According to prosecutors, he shared drugs with Rita Kemper in the trailer where he was living at the pellet factory site. She refused to have sex with him and ran out of the trailer, so he chased her, beat her, dragged her back into the trailer, and then pulled down her pants and attempted to rape her. Rita Kemper said he had attempted to murder her, saying, "I'm going to kill you and bury you in the woods with the other girls." She escaped through a window of the trailer and fled to police officers in the area. Joe Metheny then asked a friend to help him bury the body of Kimberly Spicer, which he had been hiding at the factory site since killing her a month earlier. The friend reported it to the police on December 15, 1996, and Joe was arrested and charged with her murder the same day. The owner of the business was also arrested with Joe Metheny as they left a Christmas party and was charged as an accessory after the fact for allegedly disposing of evidence. Joe began confessing to other murders, as well as that of Kimberly Spicer. He led police to the shallow grave where he reburied Katie's decapitated remains. Much of the skull was missing, but the police were able to identify her from dental records. Police said he chose young white sex workers who were addicted to heroin and cocaine. The killings also involved brutal sexual assaults. He was indicted for killing Tony Lynn Ingrassia, aged 28, but those charges were later dropped for lack of evidence. He claimed to have also killed 3 other prostitutes along Washington Boulevard in Baltimore, although there was no evidence of most of those crimes other than his confession. He said that he had thrown bodies in the Patapsco River and they had never been found. The Baltimore Sun newspaper reported in 1997 that it was not clear how truthful his claims were about how many people he killed, although he said that he killed up to 10 people. His attorney said he was remorseful and drugs and alcohol changed his personality and made him violent. It's not known if he ever found his wife and son. However, I really think that the reason he killed prostitutes and drug addicts was because, like he said, he wanted revenge, but also his wife was a drug addict, and probably in the quest to finding her, all other drug addicts reminded him of his runaway wife. It's also very much possible Joe never got over the fact his wife ran away with his son. This would all stem from his own childhood abandonment by his father when he passed away. And having reached the end of my video, just a piece of advice: think twice before you buy a burger from a man selling at a stand. You never know what's in there. Anyway, thank you so much guys for watching today's video. Please don't forget, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the subscribe button below, the red subscribe button, and also the notification bell so you know of any new videos I upload to my channel. For now, take care and stay safe. Bye bye!